people are still skittish
we
about
are just
purchasing
coming to the end
condominiums.
of
So in that sense,
an architectural
condominiums,
tour
these apartment
on
buildings
the
are
water
getting
and
converted.
the island.
This greenish treed area known as Wolf Point goes back to the 1850s. It housed our first tavern and inn. It's been owned by the Kennedy family for a number of years. A couple years ago they announced they're going to build 3 skyscrapers, including the 50 or 45-story building there, and 2 others, 50 and 60-story. The residents got very concerned about traffic patterns. They seemed to work that out. In fact, Kennedy family said they're only going to occupy 1/2 of that area with these 3 skyscrapers, which is amazing in itself. That building under construction is an apartment building, and that'll be completed more than likely next year. The Great Dam of the Chicago River coming into view directly in front of us on the left-hand side. Merchandise Mart. When this was completed in 1930, standing at 4 million square feet, it was the largest commercial building in the world. It is now, wait for, we got some construction there. We have a lot of pleasure boats now, and a lot of them don't mind the rules of the river here, so and we have barges and construction going on, so that's how we can pass through here. So normally these horns go off. They're Coast Guard regulated horns, and they are loud, so I think we're giving visual signs here. Anyway, this was the largest commercial building in the world, 1930. It's now probably about the 5th largest. Anybody venture a guess what the largest office building in America is? Anybody? Pentagon, 6.5 million square feet. Okay? So this building was built and financed by Marshall Field for his wholesale business. He was a great retailer, department stores. And in front of these busts are busts of the great retailers of America, Harvey Filing, Wanamaker, Philadelphia, Sears, Roebuck, Montgomery Ward. David Letterman was on this boat a couple years ago when the film was shown here. He said, that looks like the Pez Head Hall of Fame. I can't come up with a line like that, I don't really know. Anyway, Marshall Field paid $45 million for that in 1930. With the Great Depression, could never fill that building. 15 short years later, 1945, he sells it for 1/3 its value, $13 million, to a gentleman from Massachusetts, Joseph Kennedy, and it stayed in the Kennedy portfolio until 1998 when it sold for $575 million. Let's see, 575 minus 13, about $500 million, not too shabby in the deal. We're seeing a lot of home furnishing companies wearing there. We're seeing a lot of high-tech digital firms moving in. And I can get it all now. Our high-tech graduates from college will work there night and day. They'll bike over to the new apartment building at Wolf Point being built by the Kennedys. That makes sense. This next building, 300 North LaSalle. This is a LEED certified building. Leadership and Energy and Environmental Design, a sustainable green building. And this was designed by Harden Chilton out of Iowa State. And normally, that building would need cooling towers on the very top of the building, the air conditioning building. But rather what it does, it takes in the cool Chicago River water through intake valves, circulates it through the building, returns that water non-polluted back into the river, and that cycle starts up again. It saves over 10,000 potable gallons of water a year. Very energy efficient. LEED certified. The easiest summary for what that means, using the least amount of natural materials and building a building, the least amount of energy and operating the building. We're very big on LEED certified buildings in Chicago. They could.
There's no doubt it's a very, very pretty city and also very, very clean city. And I particularly like it.
Our buddy Bertrand Goldberg. Notice this with this like corncob skyscraper, twin Marina City Towers. Now Bertrand was in the late 50s, 1950s, trying to keep everybody downtown when folks are moving out to the suburbs in Chicago. He designed a sort of a mini city here, including a hotel, grocery store, health club, restaurants, and these twin high-rise concrete towers. When they were built and completed in 1962 and 63, they were the tallest concrete residential buildings in the world. How would you on any given evening, after a couple glasses of wine or a couple of brewskis, like to park your car backwards every night into that parking garage? Well, about 20 years ago, I was working in the black building here. It was at the time the IBM building. Friday night about 8 o'clock, should have been home by then, and a car comes flying out of the 8-story parking garage. My jaw dropped too, hit the water, and it sunk so fast. Anybody remember the Steve McQueen movie, The Hunter? He was a bounty hunter. Steve was probably enjoying dinner watching this fiasco, but that stunt driver in hot Mustang hit the water so fast, and it sunk within about 20 seconds. They weren't going to spend more money on another hot Mustang, so a relatively short scene in that movie. But man, I really wondered what had happened as well. The stunt driver was retrieved safe and sound, a little polluted in those days, 1980s. This black building, now known as AMA Plaza, was the last building designed by Mies van der Rohe. He was such a prolific architect. He was still designing buildings at age 88. And he died a year before this was completed in 1970.
Teaser for the Air and Water Show, which is on the weekend.
Or even compete with the Blue Angels. I'll tell you, they're F-18 Hornets, 535 miles per hour. They are F-18 Hornets. I told you I'd come back to Trump Tower here, our second tallest building in the world. Donald, modest gentleman from New York City, wanted even larger letters on this building. I snuck those letters in. We now have an ordinance in front of the city council to reduce the size of lettering on the exterior building. That gets to be grandfathered. I'm surprised he didn't want his picture on the building, but you know Donald, right? Anyway, beautiful building, night and day, wonderful condominiums, restaurant, retail space. The penthouse just recently sold.